Good morning, everybody. Just want to do a quick video. I hadn't done one in a while. I've been kind of indisposed at the last couple of weeks. I've been home. Had a lot of stuff going on, stuff I don't really want to bore y'all with. So just know I ain't forgot about what my channel's about. Weather just hasn't cooperated for me to go out and do any fishing videos or anything like that. I've had other stuff going on around the house on days that it was nice enough that I hadn't really been able to get in here and do any reloading or anything like that I've put on or had a chance to put on video. I do want to talk a little bit about my Six Pack Pro. I've had a chance to review it, had a chance to do some reloading on several different calibers, both rifle from .308 and .223. I've done some .44 Magnum, some .357, .38 Special, .45 ACP, and 9mm. All in all, I put about, I don't know, probably 500 rounds of .223, about 250 rounds of .762, a couple of thousand rounds of different pistol calibers. Some things I found that I'm happy with. Some other things I'm just going to say right up front, this is not a bashing. I love this press. But this press, in my opinion, is not something that I will use to reload rifle calibers, bottleneck shells. With those, I think I'll stick with one of my other presses that I have, which is also a Lee, both my single stage press and my Loadmaster for the other calibers, bottleneck shells. But as far as pistol calibers go, the Six Pack Pro is going to be my go-to. I love this thing. It's easy to get running right. A couple of mods that I'd done, I showed you earlier. One of them was the case kick preventer. I've still got that in play. I've used it for hundreds and hundreds of rounds. After one of the other videos that I showed you, I tightened up that one screw on the case pusher. I haven't had it pull any cases back out of the shell plate since then. Either bottleneck shells, rifle cartridges, or larger .44 Magnum, things of that nature, .45 ACP. Haven't had a problem with it pulling any of the shells back out of the shell carrier. One thing I did do, I did change out the spring and where I had it positioned on originally, and I'll show you that now. So what I did was, instead of the spring being mounted to a Carter pin right here, I moved the Carter pin over to the door and just used a rubber band and put it around where the case ejector for the press fits onto the press. And now, as you can see, I'll cycle this a couple of times. You can see the door close and open back up. Everything works great with that. Now, the reason I put this on is, again, explaining, every time a shell would drop down, about every second or third time it would drop a shell right here, it would kick out. And this door, all it does is just covers that area right there on the shell pusher to keep it from kicking whenever it drops the next shell into place. It's worked great for me so far, and again, since I've done this modification, I've had several hundreds of rounds put through this in many different calibers. I haven't had a problem with it. Even since I tightened up the shell pusher on the bottom here, I haven't had any problem with that either. It's very little that I tightened that up, but it helped from pulling the shells back out of the shell plate. Now, I've heard people take and say they file this edge down here on these. I really don't have a need to do that at this time. I haven't had any issues with mine. So just be mindful of that. That does become a problem. I'll address it then. Again, this is not a bashing of this machine. This machine works flawlessly whenever I use it for pistol rounds. Both large primer pocket and small primer pocket 45 ACP, I haven't had any troubles running those through here. I've heard of people having issues with the priming system. I haven't. And it's again, it's not to say that it won't appear later. Just at this time, I haven't had anything. So the only thing I have noticed is the, the powder measure. It's like any of the other ones that I've had from Lee. It's not flawless. I've even had some RCBs that they leak a little bit of powder from time to time. Now, does this one work better than the perfect powder measure? Yes, absolutely. In my opinion, it does anyway. So it's an improvement. It's not perfect. It's kind of like, potatoes to some others. Me, I don't get as much spillage with this as I did with the perfect powder measure, I believe is what it was called. I'll have to go back and look just to make sure. But yeah, so again, this works better. It's not perfect, works better. I've heard of people complaining about the compression clamp bushings, saying that they can't get the bushing tightened down because the screw contacts the other bushings. The only problem I've had is I'm not paying attention whenever I put the bushing in, and it's not lined up to where I can get the Allen wrench to tighten up on those are. I'm not a big fan of the O-ring style that allow you to turn it, because then you have to rely on the key, this little plastic piece, which there are people out there who have made CNC machined ones to put the bushings in and out, but most of us, all we have is this plastic key that Lee sends with the press. Not sure why they didn't make this out of CNC aluminum, other than the fact that it's cheaper to produce. I get it. But if you're not happy with this and you want to use those bushings that have the O-ring to keep your dies in adjustment, then by all means, get you one of these that's CNC machined. I've seen them online. I don't know exactly where they are located or who has them. Some of the pages on Facebook, there are people that say they make them, and you might be able to get in touch with them. I personally use the compression bushing, so I can just use just twist them in and out by hand. Works for me just fine. See what else. Changing out for calibers is not quick and just a twist, turn, push and go, you're ready to do it. You basically have to disassemble a lot of things, and you have to pay attention to the size cases you're reloading, because if it's, I think it's 0.46, I have to go back and look, but anyway, basically a 40 cal brass or smaller base, you're going to have to put that ring in there, the plastic assist ring, I guess they call it, or you could call it whatever it is, to be sure that your cases are staying in the shell plate. But but it's not something you're going to do in just a minute and everything's going to be swapped out. Or at least I found that anyway, because there's a lot of moving parts here. Ease of changing out, absolutely it's easy. I've had no issues with it. The only time I've had any issues with this press is because I didn't follow directions, or I got in a hurry, something that you should never do when you're reloading. So don't get frustrated with the press. It's not the press. This press is designed to do what they intended it to do. It will reload, like I said, bottleneck shells, rifle calibers. I personally do not like using this press for that. Again, I've reloaded several different calibers, both the 223, which, you know, they come out good, they come out consistent. It's just, to me, having to lube my cases with the one shot every time I go to run them through the press, it's kind of a pain in the butt. It also goms things up from time to time. I know they say that one shot doesn't. I find it still leaves a little bit of a residue and gets on my other parts of my press. May not be a pain in the rear for other people. I just don't like it. Same with the 308s. I've reloaded a couple hundred rounds of those. I just prefer myself personally to use a different press to reload bottleneck shells. But for pistol calipers, again, this Lee 6-Pack Pro is awesome. I hadn't got anything to reload here to kind of run through to show you how some of the stuff is working now, just because it's supply and demand. I don't have the supply, although I've got all kind of demand for stuff. But when I do get stuff, I run it. It runs great, especially for pistol calipers. I got a new 357 lever gun that's going to cause me to, I'm most definitely sure, cause me to eat through a lot of 38 special and 357. But that's why we do this. We enjoy it. We love reloading. I can't really think of anything else that I need to say at this time. I've had this press, let's see, I got it back in January, December, first part of January. So not quite 6 months yet, but this press runs great. I absolutely think Lee hit it out of the park with this. This is a great press for reloading pistols. Other people may enjoy it for reloading rifle cartridges, but straight wall cartridges, you can't beat this press. This press works awesome. So thanks for watching. Again, hit the like and subscribe.